In the vast arena of life, where distractions abound and external forces constantly seek to sway our minds, the greatest battle is not against others, it is against ourselves. Many spend their lives strategizing to outwit competitors, seeking validation through superficial victories, yet they remain prisoners of their own emotional chaos. True mastery, however, lies in a different path, the path of Stoicism. Stoicism offers a philosophy not to merely outsmart others, but to transcend the need to do so. It teaches us that the greatest form of power comes not from controlling the world around us, but from mastering the mind within. The Stoic does not waste energy seeking to manipulate the external. Instead, they cultivate a fortress of inner calm, a clarity of purpose, and an indomitable will. Imagine a life where the noise of others no longer dictates your choices, where the whims of fortune neither exalt nor destroy you, and where your every action is governed by virtue, reason, and unwavering self-control. Such is the life of a Stoic, silent yet powerful, humble yet unshakable. This is not the cunning of manipulation. This is the wisdom of outlasting the storms that engulf the unprepared. Join me now as we explore 10 Stoic keys that will not only help you rise above the pettiness of outsmarting others, but will allow you to become unassailable both in mind and in spirit. Through these principles, you will discover that true intelligence is not in defeating others, but in mastering yourself. Number 1. Master the art of emotional detachment. In the chaos of life, where emotions rise like unrelenting tides, many are swept away, helpless in the face of anger, fear, and despair. Yet the Stoic understands that true power lies not in controlling the world outside, but in mastering the storm within. Emotional detachment is not the coldness of indifference, but the serenity of wisdom. It is the realization that nothing has the power to disturb us unless we grant it permission. Imagine standing in the heart of a tempest, the winds howling around you, debris flying in every direction. Most would panic, overwhelmed by the fury of the storm. But the Stoic stands firm, unmoved by the chaos, because they know the storm is external, not within. Emotional detachment is the anchor that holds us steady when life attempts to throw us off course. It is the ability to observe the world without being enslaved by its turbulence. In every moment, we are given the choice to react or to reflect. The untrained mind reacts, often with anger, frustration, or sorrow. But the Stoic mind, disciplined and aware, pauses before emotion takes hold. It steps back and asks, "Is this within my control?" If the answer is no, then what reason is there to allow this fleeting event to disturb the peace of the soul? In that pause, we reclaim our power. Consider the example of Marcus Aurelius, who governed an empire while facing personal loss, betrayal, and the weight of constant war. Yet, he did not crumble beneath the pressure, for he had mastered this art. He recognized that while external events may seem dire, it is our judgment of them that creates suffering. The Stoic, therefore, trains the mind to remain untouched, like a rock standing firm against the battering waves. To master emotional detachment is not to deny our humanity, but to elevate it. It is to rise above the petty provocations of the world, to see clearly and act deliberately. When others are consumed by their emotions, lashing out in anger or sinking into despair, you will stand apart, calm and resolute. This does not mean you are numb to the experiences of life, but rather that you choose not to be ruled by them. In mastering emotional detachment, you do not simply outsmart others, you transcend the very game they play. While they are at the mercy of their passions, you remain free, guiding your actions with reason and purpose. And in that freedom, you become unshakable, untouched by the whims of fate, standing tall amidst the turmoil of life. Number 2. Act, don't announce. In a world hungry for attention, where words are often louder than deeds, we find ourselves swept into a current of constant declarations. We speak of our ambitions, share our plans, and await the applause of others before we have taken the first step. Yet the Stoic knows that words, while fleeting, often dissipate the energy needed for action. To act in silence is to preserve one's power. To broadcast one's intentions prematurely is to squander it. Consider the wisdom of the chess master who, in the quiet tension of the game, reveals nothing of their strategy. Each move is deliberate, purposeful, calculated, not spoken of but simply done. The opponent, left to guess and react, is perpetually outmaneuvered. So too in life, we must learn to keep our intentions close to the chest. In doing so, we not only shield ourselves from unnecessary scrutiny, but we also allow our actions to carry the weight that idle words never can. The world is full of those who boast of their next conquest, who speak of their plans as though they have already succeeded. But here lies the danger. When we announce, we release the tension that drives us forward. Praise comes before it is earned, and with it, the hunger to achieve diminishes. The true Stoic, however, finds satisfaction not in the recognition of others, but in the quiet fulfillment of a job well done. When you act without announcing, your movements become like the wind, felt but not seen. Let your success be discovered in the aftermath of your efforts, when the fruits of your labor are undeniable, rather than in the promise of future glory. In this, you not only outsmart those who seek validation through words, but you also cultivate within yourself the discipline of self-reliance. For when the world is silent and no one is watching, the Stoic mind continues to work with undiminished focus. Remember, it is not the declaration of intent that brings results, but the quiet, persistent execution of effort. When you move with purpose but without spectacle, you will find that not only are you beyond the reach of envy and criticism, but you also command a respect that is rooted in your deeds, not in the promises of what you might one day achieve. Number 3, cultivate inner resilience through acceptance. In life, suffering is inevitable. We will encounter loss, betrayal, and hardships that challenge our very core. Many fight against this truth, exhausting themselves in futile attempts to control what cannot be controlled. But the Stoic sees differently. We understand that true resilience is born not from resistance, but from acceptance. To accept is not to surrender. It is not a passive act of defeat, but a courageous recognition of reality. The Stoic cultivates resilience by embracing life as it is, by understanding that some things lie beyond our reach, and no amount of willpower can bend the course of fate. In this clarity, we find strength. Consider the wisdom of Epictetus, who once said, "Seek not for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will find tranquility." The Stoic accepts the hand they are dealt, not with bitterness, but with purpose. We do not lament the storm, we learn to sail through it. When adversity strikes, it is easy to ask, "Why me?" But the Stoic reframes the question, "What now?" Acceptance allows us to see challenges not as punishments, but as opportunities to grow. Each obstacle becomes a teacher, each hardship a chance to refine our spirit. In this way, we transform suffering into resilience. We understand that life is a series of trials, and each trial is a stepping stone to greater strength. Imagine a tree battered by fierce winds. The branches may bend, but the roots grow deeper. So it is with the Stoic. In the face of adversity, we do not break, we adapt, we grow stronger. By accepting what we cannot change, we direct our energy toward what we can, our thoughts, our actions, our attitudes. We may not choose the circumstances, but we always choose how we respond to them. Through acceptance, we cultivate an unshakable inner fortitude. While others rail against the tides of fate, wasting their strength in vain struggle, we reserve our power for what truly matters. We become like the mountain, unmoved by the winds, firm in our resolve. In this way, the Stoic does not merely endure life's challenges, we rise above them. Acceptance is the key that unlocks resilience, allowing us to thrive amidst the very difficulties that defeat others. When you cultivate this inner resilience, you are not only outsmarting those who cling to control, but you are aligning yourself with the very flow of life. And in this alignment, you will find an indomitable strength that no hardship can diminish. Top of form, bottom of form. Number 4. Maintain secrecy to protect your strength. In a world obsessed with visibility, where every thought is shared and every move broadcasted, there is immense power in secrecy. To reveal all is to lay bare your defenses, to hand over your strength to those who may not honor it. The Stoic, however, understands the wisdom in keeping one's intentions guarded, in protecting one's inner world from the prying eyes of others. Secrecy is not deception, it is the quiet preservation of one's power. When you reveal too much of yourself, your ambitions, your vulnerabilities, your next steps, you expose yourself to manipulation, to envy, and to interference. In contrast, when you hold your plans close, you control the narrative. You become unpredictable, and in that unpredictability lies strength. Consider the ancient art of war. No general would reveal their strategy to the enemy before the battle. To do so would be to invite defeat before a single sword is drawn. So too in life, we must learn to guard our thoughts and intentions, sharing only with those who have earned the right to know. Even then, wisdom dictates that we reveal only what is necessary, preserving our full strength for the moments that require it. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of inner sovereignty, the mastery of one's own mind and heart, unshaken by external forces. This mastery is only possible when we control not just our actions, but our words and even our silences. By practicing restraint in what we share, we maintain the freedom to act without the burden of others' opinions or expectations weighing us down. The modern world encourages us to overshare, to seek validation through the applause of the crowd. But the Stoic knows that true validation comes from within. When we keep our counsel, when we move in silence, we are free from the distractions that pull others away from their purpose. In secrecy, there is clarity. In silence, there is focus. Imagine yourself as a deep well, its waters pure and untouched, known only to those who draw close enough to discover its depths. To broadcast your every thought and intention is to pollute those waters, to allow the world to muddy what should remain clear. Keep your well protected, your plans guarded, and your inner strength will remain untarnished. By maintaining secrecy, you not only shield yourself from those who would misuse your words, but you also cultivate an aura of mystery and confidence. Others may speak freely of their plans, seeking validation, but you will move quietly, allowing your actions to speak for themselves. And when your strength is revealed, it will be undeniable, rooted not in the approval of others, but in the unyielding foundation of your own resolve. In this way, you will outsmart those who scatter their power with every word. You will stand firm, undisturbed by the opinions or interference of others, knowing that your greatest strength lies in the silence you choose to keep. Number 5. Embrace silence as a weapon. In a world where noise dominates, where everyone clamors to be heard, to shout over one another, to fill every moment with words, there is a forgotten power in silence. Silence is not the absence of speech. It is the presence of wisdom. It is the calculated pause, the thoughtful restraint, the strength to listen when others speak impulsively. To the Stoic, silence is a weapon sharper than any word. Consider this. In the heat of conflict, when voices rise and emotions flare, most rush to respond, eager to defend themselves or gain the upper hand. But the Stoic knows that the one who speaks last, who listens carefully and speaks deliberately, holds the true power. Epictetus reminds us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. In silence, we hear not only the words of others, but also the motivations behind them. We see the currents beneath the surface that escape the notice of those who speak without thinking. Silence is the ally of clarity. When you refrain from immediate reaction, you gain the space to reflect, to understand, and to choose your response with care. In this moment of silence, You regain control over the situation, while others may have lost it to their emotions. The Stoic uses silence not to retreat, but to gather strength, to observe, and to prepare a response that will strike with precision. Think of a warrior who conserves their energy, who waits for the right moment to act while their opponent expends their strength in haste. So too, the Stoic warrior of the mind knows that speaking too soon or too often diminishes one's power. In silence, you conserve your inner strength, building it up for the moments when it will matter most. There is also a certain mystery in silence. When you speak less, others cannot easily predict your thoughts, your next move, or your intentions. This unpredictability is an advantage. Silence shields you from the probing questions, the pressures of others' expectations, and the distractions that often lead people astray. By embracing silence, you become more elusive, more focused, allowing your actions to speak with a clarity that words rarely achieve. To embrace silence as a weapon is to reject the urge to fill every space with speech. It is to understand that silence, when used deliberately, commands more respect than the loudest voice in the room. Those who speak constantly scatter their energy. Those who remain silent hold it close, refining it until it becomes an unstoppable force. So let others rush to respond, to fill the air with noise. You, the Stoic, will remain calm, composed, and strategic. Your silence will speak of wisdom, of self-mastery, and of an inner strength that cannot be shaken. In the end, it is not the loudest who wins, but the one who knows when and when not to speak. By mastering the art of silence, you not only outsmart others, but you also outlast them. Your words, when finally spoken, will carry the weight of truth and deliberation, while the noise of others will have long faded away. Let silence be your weapon, and with it, you will move through life with unmatched precision and power. Number 6. Act with intentional humility. In a world that craves recognition, where the spotlight is fiercely sought, there lies a quiet and unassailable strength in humility. The Stoic knows that true power does not need to announce itself, it simply is. Humility is not the absence of confidence, but rather its most refined form, a confidence so secure that it requires no validation. To act with intentional humility is to let your deeds speak for themselves, knowing that greatness needs no herald. Humility, for the Stoic, is the foundation upon which all other virtues rest. It is the wisdom to recognize that fame, fortune, and praise are fleeting, external things, things beyond our control, and therefore undeserving of our concern. Instead, the Stoic focuses on what is internal, on the character they are building with each action. It is this internal progress, invisible to the world but ever present to the self, that defines true success. Seneca reminds us, the greatest obstacle to living is expectation, which depends on tomorrow but wastes today. Humility frees us from the burden of others' expectations, from the need to constantly perform for an audience. When you act with intentional humility, you are liberated from the desire for external recognition. You act not for the applause of the crowd, but for the quiet satisfaction of knowing you have done what is right, what is virtuous. Imagine a craftsman who toils day after day, perfecting their art in solitude, away from the eyes of others. They do not seek acclaim, nor do they boast of their skill. Their joy is found in the work itself, in the mastery of their craft. And when their work is finally revealed, its quality speaks for itself. So too does the Stoic live, not for the fleeting moments of glory, but for the deep, lasting fulfillment that comes from knowing one has lived with integrity. To act with intentional humility is to understand that life is not a performance. The Stoic does not need to shout their achievements from the rooftops, nor do they seek validation from others. They understand that virtue is its own reward, and that those who pursue greatness for its own sake will outshine those who chase the approval of others. The applause fades, but character endures. In this humility, there is great power. When you are humble, You are free from the distractions that plague others, envy, competition, the constant need for recognition. You move through life with a quiet confidence, unshaken by the highs and lows that come with seeking external praise. Those around you, consumed by the need to be noticed, will look to you and wonder at your calm, your unshakable focus. In time, they will realize that while they were busy chasing the spotlight, you were building something far greater within yourself. By embracing humility, you not only outsmart those who are trapped in the cycle of ego and recognition, but you also build a legacy of quiet strength. Your actions, done without the need for fanfare, will speak louder and longer than any boastful words could. You will be respected not for what you claim to be, but for what you truly are, a person of depth, of virtue, and of wisdom. So let others clamor for attention. You, the Stoic, will continue on your path, humble yet determined, knowing that the greatest triumphs are those that need no announcement. In humility, you will find freedom. In freedom, you will find power. And in power, you will discover a life lived not for the world, but for the soul. Number 7. Find strength in solitude. In the ceaseless noise of modern life, we are constantly pulled outward, towards the opinions of others, the demands of society, and the distractions of the world. Yet the Stoic knows that true strength is not found in the crowd, but in solitude. It is in moments of quiet, when we retreat from the distractions of the external world, that we reconnect with our deepest self, our inner compass. Solitude is not loneliness, but a sanctuary, a place where the mind can breathe and the soul can grow strong. To be alone is to be undistracted, to be free from the incessant chatter that clouds our judgment. Solitude allows the Stoic to reflect, to weigh their actions against their values, and to sharpen their mind like a blade against the stone of self-reflection. The unwise may fear solitude, mistaking it for isolation, but the Stoic embraces it, knowing that within that silence lies the key to clarity, wisdom, and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic minds, often found strength in solitude, retreating into himself even while surrounded by the chaos of an empire. He wrote in his Meditations, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This retreat into the self is not an escape from life, but a preparation for it. Solitude equips us to face the world with renewed focus and fortitude, unshaken by its distractions or temptations. In solitude, you cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself, stripped of the need for approval or validation. It is here, in this quiet space, that you can confront your fears, your weaknesses, and your desires without judgment. The Stoic understands that this internal confrontation is where true growth begins. Without the clarity of solitude, we are at the mercy of external influences, swayed by the opinions and pressures of others. But when we stand alone, we are sovereign over our own minds, and in that sovereignty, we find strength. Consider the ancient oak tree, standing tall in the wilderness. It grows alone, its roots sinking deep into the earth, drawing nourishment not from the surrounding noise, but from the silent depths below. So too must the Stoic grow, rooted in solitude, drawing strength from within, not from the transient approval of the world. In these moments of isolation, you strengthen your roots, deepening your connection to your principles, your purpose, and your own inner power. But solitude is not merely a retreat, it is a space for creation, for self-cultivation. In solitude, we refine our thoughts, plan our actions, and nurture our deepest aspirations. It is where we forge the unbreakable bond between our desires and our discipline. The world may pull you in 1,000 directions, but in solitude, you gather your will, focusing it like a beam of light on what truly matters. When you emerge from this solitude, you are not weakened by isolation, but empowered by it. You return to the world with a quiet confidence, a strength that comes from knowing yourself deeply and relying on no one but yourself. Those who seek constant companionship will look to you and wonder at your poise, at the depth of your resilience, forged in the crucible of silence. So let others fear being alone. You, the Stoic, will seek out solitude, knowing that in its quiet embrace you will find the strength to face the world, not as a follower of its whims, but as a master of your own destiny. For in solitude we do not escape from life. We prepare ourselves to live it fully, with clarity, courage, and an indomitable spirit. Number 8. Avoid gossip and focus on personal growth. The wise know that idle talk about others is a thief, not of time, but of one's character. Gossip is the currency of the small-minded, an exchange of words that achieves nothing but the erosion of integrity. The Stoic, however, rises above this pettiness. To engage in gossip is to lose sight of the one true task we are given in life, to cultivate our own soul, to refine our own virtues, and to grow into the fullest version of ourselves. When you speak of others, you are diverted from this essential mission. Every moment spent discussing the faults, missteps, or lives of others is a moment wasted, precious time that could be used to strengthen your own mind, your own character. The Stoic knows that personal growth is not a comparison with others, but an inner journey. The more we gossip, the more we stray from this path, entangling ourselves in the trivial concerns that are of no consequence to our own development. Epictetus warns us, be silent about what does not concern you. This is not just a call for restraint in conversation, it is a deeper command for focus. Our thoughts and our words shape who we become. By speaking ill of others, by indulging in their failures or misfortunes, we cultivate negativity within ourselves. We plant seeds of distraction, judgment, and envy, none of which help us grow. To avoid gossip is to protect the sanctity of our own minds, to guard against the poison of comparison and unnecessary judgment. Instead, turn your gaze inward. Ask yourself, what can I improve today? Where can I grow stronger, wiser, more virtuous? These are the questions that should occupy the Stoic's mind. Life is short, and the task of self-improvement is endless. To waste even a moment on gossip is to neglect this higher purpose, to let slip an opportunity to better ourselves. The wise spend their time in reflection and action, not in the careless chatter that leads nowhere. When you avoid gossip, you elevate not only your own mind, but also the environment around you. In choosing not to speak ill of others, you create a space of respect and growth. You become a person others can trust, someone who does not tear down but builds up. And in that space, others are encouraged to rise to your level, to follow your example of focus and integrity. Think of a garden. If you spend your time pulling up weeds from your neighbor's plot, who will tend to your own? Gossip is like plucking another's weeds while neglecting the growth of your own garden. The Stoic focuses on cultivating their own virtues, knowing that the best way to lead is by example, not by demeaning others. In avoiding gossip, you sharpen your mind, you guard your energy, and you remain firmly on the path of self-mastery. The distractions of others' lives, the petty talk that circles around you, all fade into the background as you move forward with purpose. And those who waste their time on gossip will find themselves stuck, while you quietly and steadily grow, stronger and more focused with each passing day. Let others waste their breath on trivial matters. You, the Stoic, will remain dedicated to the only task that matters, your own growth. In this focus, you will not only outsmart those who scatter their thoughts on others' affairs, but you will also build a foundation of wisdom and virtue that nothing can shake. Number 9. Practice self-control in all actions. Of all the virtues the Stoic cultivates, none is more foundational than self-control. Without it, even the greatest intellect or the strongest resolve can be rendered powerless, swept away by the currents of impulse and desire. Self-control is the guardian of the soul, the fortress that protects us from being overrun by our own passions. In mastering it, we master ourselves, and in mastering ourselves, we master life. The untrained mind is like a ship without a rudder, carried wherever the winds of emotion take it. Anger flares, greed consumes, lust pulls one from the path. But the Stoic knows that true power lies in the ability to pause, to reflect, and to act deliberately, not react impulsively. Epictetus teaches us that no man is free who is not master of himself. To practice self-control is to reclaim your freedom from the tyranny of your baser instincts. Imagine a moment of temptation, perhaps to speak harshly in anger, to indulge in excess, or to pursue fleeting pleasures. In these moments, self-control is your sword and shield. The Stoic does not deny the presence of desire or emotion, but confronts them with a calm and measured resolve. It is not that the Stoic feels nothing, but rather that they are not ruled by what they feel. They have trained their mind to be the master, not the servant, of their emotions. Consider the archer who draws their bow. They do not fire impulsively at the first target that appears. Instead, they steady their hand, control their breath, and aim with precision. So too, the Stoic controls their thoughts and actions, not allowing impulses to lead them astray. Every decision, every movement is done with intention, guided by reason, not by the whims of the moment. The practice of self-control extends beyond moments of temptation. It is a daily discipline that governs how we spend our time, how we speak, how we engage with others. It is the restraint that keeps us from overindulgence, the patience that prevents us from reacting in anger, and the humility that keeps our ego in check. To practice self-control in all actions is to walk the path of mastery in every aspect of life. Yet self-control is not about denial or suppression. It is about choice, the freedom to choose wisely rather than be driven by immediate gratification. When you practice self-control, you align your actions with your values. You act not out of reflex, but out of purpose. Each moment of self-restraint is a victory of the higher self over the lower impulses, a step closer to the Stoic ideal of inner peace and outer integrity. The world around you may be chaotic, full of temptations and distractions that pull others from their course. But with self-control, you navigate this chaos with unwavering focus. While others may stumble, led by their desires, you walk steadily forward, clear in purpose and resolute in action. The practice of self-control is not a burden, it is a liberation. It frees you from the chains of impulsivity, from the destructive power of unchecked emotions. It gives you the space to reflect, to choose, and to act with wisdom. And in this discipline, you will not only outsmart those who are slaves to their desires, but you will also forge a mind that is truly free, unshaken by the tides of fortune or the whims of circumstance. So let others be pulled in 1,000 directions by their impulses. You, the Stoic, will stand firm, guided by reason and fortified by self-control. In this mastery, you will find a strength that is rare in this world, a strength that allows you to rise above, unshaken, free, and fully in command of yourself. Number 10. Foster gratitude and let go of external validation. In a world where approval is sought like a rare gem, where validation from others is often mistaken for self-worth, the Stoic stands apart. The Stoic knows that true contentment does not come from the fickle applause of the crowd, but from a heart that is filled with gratitude. Gratitude not for what we wish we had, but for what we already possess. To foster gratitude is to reclaim your power, to turn your gaze inward and discover that everything you need is already within you. External validation, like the wind, is ever-changing and beyond our control. To chase it is to be led astray by forces that do not belong to us. When we hinge our happiness on the approval of others, we become their slaves, tossed about by their opinions and expectations. But the Stoic knows that validation comes from one place alone, within. The one who is content with themselves, who values their own growth over the judgment of others, is truly free. Seneca speaks of this freedom, reminding us that it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Gratitude is the antidote to this craving. It is the practice of acknowledging the abundance of what we already have, our health, our mind, our ability to grow and improve. Each day presents countless blessings, yet most pass by unnoticed, overshadowed by the endless pursuit of more. But to the Stoic, gratitude transforms even the smallest things into riches. By fostering gratitude, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire and disappointment. We no longer measure our success by the fleeting approval of others, but by the steady progress of our own character. While others seek likes, compliments, and recognition, the Stoic seeks inner peace, finding joy in the simple fact of being alive, of having the chance to grow and to act with virtue. Imagine a life where you no longer need to look to others for validation, where your worth is not tied to the praise of friends, colleagues, or strangers, but rests securely in the knowledge that you are living according to your values. This is the freedom that gratitude grants. It allows you to step off the stage of public opinion and return to the quiet contentment of your own soul. To let go of external validation is not to become indifferent to others. It is to release the need for their approval. You still act with kindness, still offer your best work, but you do so without the expectation of praise. This is true independence, to act with purpose, driven not by the desire for recognition, but by the commitment to your principles. And when you no longer need validation, you will find that your actions carry greater weight, for they are done with integrity, not for show. The Stoic teaches that the opinions of others are beyond our control. We cannot dictate how others will perceive us, nor should we. What we can control is our own perspective, our own response to life's challenges. Gratitude sharpens this perspective, reminding us to focus on what we can influence, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes, while releasing everything else. In fostering gratitude, you build a fortress within, impervious to the shifting winds of external validation. Others may be enslaved by the need for recognition, constantly adjusting their behavior to gain approval, but you will remain steady, content with who you are and what you have achieved. Your sense of self will be rooted in something far deeper and more enduring than the opinions of others. So let others chase the fleeting highs of external praise. You, the Stoic, will live in quiet contentment, anchored by gratitude, knowing that true happiness comes not from the outside world, but from the wealth of your own soul. In this way, you will outsmart not only those who depend on the validation of others, but also the restless desires within yourself. And in that inner stillness, you will find peace. As we bring this journey to a close, reflect on the quiet power you have cultivated. The Stoic path is not about outsmarting others in the conventional sense, through trickery or force, but about rising above, by mastering the only domain that truly matters, your own mind. Each of these 10 keys is a doorway to a greater life, not one measured by external success, but by inner strength and unshakable peace. In embracing silence, you wield a weapon that cannot be countered. In cultivating humility, you stand firm while others are swept up in the tides of vanity. When you choose to act rather than announce, when you keep your plans and your strengths close, you shield yourself from the scrutiny that weakens those who seek validation. And in practicing self-control, you become the master of your impulses, rising above the fleeting emotions that pull others off course. The Stoic way is a commitment to living with integrity, acting with purpose, guided by reason, and untouched by the chaos of external events. It is not an easy path, but it is the only one that leads to true freedom. Others may chase recognition, wealth, or power, but the Stoic knows that real mastery lies within. By focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses, we claim a power that cannot be taken from us. Remember, this journey is not about perfection, but progress. Each day offers an opportunity to practice these principles, to grow stronger in resilience, in discipline, and in wisdom. The world will continue its noise and distractions, but you, the Stoic, will move forward in quiet determination, knowing that your greatest victory is not over others, but over yourself. And as you walk this path, you will discover something profound, that in mastering yourself, you have already outsmarted everyone else. The strength you have built, the wisdom you embody, and the peace you have found will make you unassailable in a world full of uncertainty. Now, go forth and live these lessons. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Let your mind be steady as a rock, and let your life be a testament to the power of the Stoic way. In silence, humility, and wisdom, you will not only outlast the storms of life, you will thrive in their midst. If you found value in these timeless Stoic lessons and are ready to elevate your life with wisdom, resilience, and inner peace, then subscribe to Ultimate Stoicism. Join our growing community of like-minded individuals dedicated to mastering themselves and thriving in a chaotic world. Hit the subscribe button now and never miss a chance to deepen your journey towards Stoic mastery.